Hello, 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 my amigos. Welcome, one. Welcome, all. It is time for liftoff.
T minus
Let's
10,
go.
9, 8,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5,
4,
4,
3,
3.
2,
Come on.
1, 0. Ignition.
We got this.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Up, up, and away. Or to infinity and beyond.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts.
Hold on to your
Get
hats.
ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no
It's
name.
No Name Time on Vaughn Radio.
Come on.
Show with no name.
All aboard. Let's go. You got it, folks. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, show with no namers from all around the world. Wherever you're tuning in from, thank you. Thank you so much for learning and laughing with me day after day, month after month, year after year, and dare I say, decade after decade. Well, some of you have been here for over a decade, and I know who you are, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And also those of you who just discovered the show with no name, those of you who just discovered Vaughn Radio, well, welcome aboard too. We are excited to have you on board as a part of our family. Yeah, there's a word that's often mispronounced. Yeah, because when we use it in English, we take out a syllable. We don't say family, right? It's not family, it's family. Family. Como muchas veces en inglés nos comemos sílabas por medio. Hey, you do it in Spanish too. You know, these little shortcuts we take when we use the language day after day. You just get sick of saying, "Are you going to go?" And you just start saying, "Are you going to go? Are you gonna?" So yeah, I know you could have a purist say "gonna" is incorrect. Okay, well, then you've got to convince 300 million other people not to use "gonna." But I'm going to use it until then. So I think that's one thing that I've always loved about languages, how what's written can be so far from what's actually said. Now, not in Spanish. In Spanish, patata. You know, everything has the same sound. But in English, it can get quite confusing. Good thing for us that at least the grammar is quite simple. I think that's part of I would say, the success of English globally as a business language, as an aviation communication language. I think it's the simplicity of the grammar. I could be wrong, but at least I would say, at least one of the factors that contribute to the popularity of English around the world. Now, Spanish, on the other hand, let's be honest, guys, your grammar is not easy. Okay, I've been studying it for 47 years, and I still haven't gotten the hang of it. Pillarle el truco. Yeah, I still make mistakes that are so evident that even my 5-year-old, well, almost 6-year-old daughter points out, right? She's like, "Dad, oh no, it's," and she told me the other day, she goes, "Dad, you got to remember that when it's it's el, and when it's la." And I said, I wish it were that easy, but it is true. I make a lot of mistakes. Meaning any of us who are learning Spanish, most of the people that you listen to here on Vaughn Radio are learning Spanish or some other language or speak other languages, which is, I think, another thing that makes, my team here at Vaughn Radio amazing. We know what it's like We've been in your shoes. We are in your shoes because we're learning a language too, a foreign language. So we feel your pain. We know what the great moments are like when you're like, I finally said that right. Oh man, it was taking the life out of me to say that right. That used to happen with me with amenazar, to threaten, and amanecer, which I think if you look at it, it's natural that I could mix those two up. And you know what? Every time I wanted to use one of those words, my brain would just do a brain fart, como decimos, un pedo mental, like, no sabe qué hacer. Almost like with especie and especias, right? Same kind of vibe. Well, it throws your head off. But one day I finally got it. And now I've got it every time I use it. And that is a blessing. So we know the ups and downs. Conocemos los altibajos de aprendizaje de idiomas from our own perspective, so we can really put ourselves in your shoes. Como va la frase en inglés, nos podemos poner en tu piel. We say in your shoes, en tus zapatos. All right, well, are you guys ready to rock and roll with our first challenge? All right, let's do this like we never knew this. It's time for the Say What soundbite. Come on,
Say what?
come on, come on, come on. Say what? Say what? Say what? What? Huh? All right, folks. Well, today we are going to hear a famous scene from a famous movie. So again, this is where English and pop culture mesh. The word mesh is another way of saying mix. Yep, this is where English and pop culture become one. Well, we've done that here on the show before. We've looked at some of the most famous movie lines. I think I even used one yesterday. Didn't I say, Houston, we've got a problem, right? So, hasta la vista, baby. You say sayonara, baby. I'll be back, volveré. I've heard people say that in Spanish. Okay, it's corny, but it's part of the lexicon because we all know those scenes from Terminator 2 or from Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Me importa un bledo. So movies, music, they're all part of the language and a big part of the language. Because in a normal life, well, you're entertained. You have entertainment, right? You have movies, you have music. Series have become increasingly popular. And don't forget about books and magazines, reading. Remember, if you're going to practice in English, always read aloud, which is why this is something you should do alone. Well, nobody wants to hear somebody read aloud. So find a little quiet spot in your house and you can read aloud. Even reading 10 minutes a day will do something for you. And you know what? I realized that even though I speak Spanish fairly well, when I first started reading Spanish aloud, I sounded like a child. I was like, el conocimiento del ser humano. Because I wasn't used to reading in Spanish. I was used to just speaking. A little bit of writing, but really reading, okay, maybe I read a little bit, like an article or something in Iberia, their magazine. But I mean reading aloud, like, putting the words and connecting them with the mouth. And, I realized, I said, whoa, this isn't as easy as I thought it was. All right, folks. Well, let's listen to today's Say What soundbite. As always, I want you folks to listen to us carefully. And again, I think maybe you'll recognize it. Well, either way, what I want from you is two different things. I want you to give me a synopsis, a summary of what you heard in your best English. You can do it over on the comment section. And you've also got your ultimate challenge. Your ultimate goal is to write down what you're hearing here word for word. All right. Are we ready? Here it is, your Say What soundbite for the first time.
So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Me pregunta el del chiringuito si quiero hacer kitesurf o wakeboard o si prefiero tomarme un bitter cass antes. Me acaba de decir 5 palabras en inglés. Kite, que significa cometa, surf, que es obviamente hacer surf, pero también significa oleaje. Wake, que es estela, en este caso la estela del barco. Board es tabla y bitter es amargo. Y justo antes, cuando le pregunté si hablaba inglés, me dijo,
pero patatero.
Sabemos mucho más inglés de lo que creemos. Solo nos falta asimilarlo y situarlo. Aprende a aprender inglés en cualquier lugar con This Book is the Milk y su secuela, This Book is the Milk 2. Te enseñaremos cómo enfocar el inglés, aprovechando todo el inglés que tenemos alrededor y de una manera divertida y adictiva. The Remilk ahora se llama This Book is the Milk 2 y viene con audio y nueva portada. Descúbrelos ya en vaughantienda.com.
That's right, folks. This Book is the Milk 2. You've also got This Book is the Shit, which is my latest book. And you've got tons of other great materials. And I introduce you to a lot of these materials in a section we call Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. That's right, amigos. That's right. It is our pop quiz. And we're not taking a look at any of my books today, although I believe many of you have my books. If you don't, they're available, as with all the other materials, at vaughantienda.com. If you're looking for courses or you want to find out more about our masters or about one-to-one classes, whatever you're interested in, or perhaps you just want a free level test, well, all you've got to do is go over to grupovaughn.com. Or if you're following us on social media, you can tune in there as well. You can reach out. You can, just mention in the comments, oye, me escribís un directo, por directo, whatever. And you can get all the information you need. Also, if you are located, ubicado, in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, all amazing places, well, you can feel free to stop by in person. All right, well, amigos, today we're going to take a look at something from Vocabulario que deberías conocer. Vocabulario en inglés. I knew I was saying something wrong there. Vocabulario en inglés, evidentemente, que deberías conocer. Now, this is a book. I don't like to call them books. This is a resource because it obviously has audio, which we're going to listen to a little excerpt in just a moment. But this is a book that was penned. This is another way of saying written. It was penned by the one and only Richard Vaughan. And along with the translation booklets that we saw yesterday, this is the backbone. ¿Te suena? espina dorsal. This is the backbone of the Vaughn method. Everything you need is in those translation lists and in the vocabulary. Obviously, then you've got to put it into practice. Guys, you can't just have the books on the bookshelf, but you really have to work them. I know that. You know that. And that's why we're here. So as always, listen carefully because it's not a passive listening exercise. I want you to listen and I want you to remember because I will be putting you to the test afterwards. Again, this is from Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer. It is available at vaughntienda.com. Also, it's under $10 and you get 4,500 different vocabulary words. All right, let's get going.
List 39.
Al extranjero. En el extranjero.
Abroad.
Cuenta.
Account.
Promedio.
Average.
Casualidad.
Coincidence.
Formación académica.
Education.
Plano. Llano.
Flat.
Biblioteca.
Library.
En cambio.
On the other hand.
Punto de vista.
Point of view.
Centro comercial.
Shopping center.
Aceptar.
To accept.
Tener prisa.
To be in a hurry.
Causar.
To cause.
Llenar.
To fill.
Reparar. Arreglar.
To fix.
Perdonar.
To forgive.
Llegar a.
To get to.
Oír.
To hear.
Sujetar. Sostener.
To hold.
Mejorar.
To improve.
Incluir.
To include.
Sospechar.
To suspect.
Lanzar. Arrojar.
To throw.
Encender.
To turn on.
Sin duda.
Without a doubt.
List 40.
Una necesidad.
A need.
Acostumbrado a.
Accustomed to.
En voz alta.
Allowed.
Cita. Compromiso.
Appointment.
Equilibrio.
Balance.
Desglose.
Breakdown.
Ropa.
Close.
Criterios.
Criteria.
Mesa de trabajo.
Desk.
Motor.
Engine.
Incluso. Aún.
Even.
Finalmente. Por último.
Finally.
Directrices.
Guidelines.
Idioma.
Language.
Enfadado.
Mad.
Estrecho.
Narrow.
Política. De empresa.
Policy.
Razón.
Reason.
Satisfecho.
Satisfied.
Simplemente.
Simply.
Paso.
Step.
Impuestos.
Taxes.
Permitirse el lujo de.
To afford.
Ser aburrido.
To be boring.
Existir.
To exist.
List 41.
Habilidad. Pericia.
Ability.
Avanzado.
Advanced.
También.
Also.
Aprobación.
Approval.
Viaje de negocios.
Business trip.
Comparado con.
Compared to. Compared with.
Diario. Diariamente.
Daily.
Debido a.
Due to.
Entero.
Entire.
Excepto.
Except.
De vez en cuando.
From time to time.
Sin embargo.
However.
Incompetente.
Incompetent.
¿Puedo hablar con
May I speak to?
mecánico,
Mechanic.
pago,
Payment.
silencioso,
Quiet.
maleducado,
Rude.
de alguna manera,
Somehow.
estable,
Stable.
sorpresa,
Surprise.
el principio,
The beginning.
adoptar,
To adopt.
estar aburrido,
To be bored.
bajar, descender.
To go down.
All right, folks, there you go. Some really good vocabulary, but now we're going to see if you can put it into context, preferably your own context. Remember, that's such a big part about learning a language. Don't just learn a word and say, okay, I got a new word. Great. Think about it. Okay, how am I going to apply this to my life, to my situation? Right? So, for example, our first word here. En el extranjero. Todos conocemos a alguien que ha estudiado, que está, que viaja al extranjero. So make it real. Make a real example in your head, something you would actually say. Si no te gusta, a mí no me gusta ir al extranjero. O si me encanta ir al extranjero. O vamos un fin de semana, un verano sí, otro no. That's up to you because everybody's going to have their own different personal context. And that's really, really important. Don't underestimate that finding the application, the practical application in your life, because maybe I'll use the word deal differently than you, right? If you work in business, then maybe you're talking about una operación. But if I work in a casino, I'm talking about repartir las cartas. So again, think about how and where this fits into your life. And I think that's such an important part because then it's not just a random example from a translation list in a grammar book, but it's a real example that you have creatively thought about and put together in your head. The first one is that, úsame en el extranjero. And I can tell you right now, excuse me, it is not in the foreigner. Because that can be like really misconstrued as like a sexual thing. Oh, yesterday I was in the foreigner. Well, that's a weird way to put it, right? En la persona extranjera. So I've heard that one before, and I was kind of like, okay. So it's not that, okay? Now you can say something with the word foreign, but I'm not going to get into too much detail because I want you to give me your example. So number one. En el extranjero. Can you use it in context in English? Number two, this is two parts. Por un lado, ta, 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 ta. En cambio, I want you to use that structure. We've looked at it before, so you should be familiar with it. So, por un lado, tal. En cambio, when you're when you're looking at a situation from different angles, if you will. Okay? So that is the second one I want you to use. Again, how would you use this? Bueno, me gusta tal, pero en cambio, podría hacer un cambio. Hey, again, everybody has their own ideas in their head, and all I'm asking you is to take those ideas and put them in English. And then the language learning becomes a living, breathing thing. Okay, and the last one, careful, because it's a false friend. And that word is compromiso. Okay, compromiso. Como una obligación, un compromiso. Okay, una obligación, un compromiso. Can you use all three of these totally native things in English? Again, number one, I'll give it to you one more time. Number one is use en el extranjero. En el extranjero. Number two, use por un lado, ta, 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 ta. En cambio, triqui, 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 tri. Okay? And the last one, I want you to use the word compromiso in English. Compromiso barra obligación. Okay? And again, beware. Tened cuidado. Beware, because it is a false friend. Y ya que sabes beware, te puedo enseñar be wary. O sea, suena casi igual. So beware, una palabra. Cuidado. Beware of dog. Right? Cuidado con el perro. Beware, una palabra. Be wary, que también se usa, y es parecido, ¿eh? Pero este es be, sed o estar, espacio, W-A-R-Y. And that's ser receloso. Skeptical. You know, don't be too trusting. Be wary, okay? Be wary of that last one because it is a false friend. And I know those false friends often throw my friends off. That's right. Desconciertan. That's how you do it. Desconciertan a mis amigos. All right, amigos, we'll be right back. We've got a lot to do in today's show, and we're just getting warmed up. I see we've got a lot of comments coming in. Elena, Born to Iron Man, Chris Valrol. What amazing students that are here with us today, ready to rock and roll. We'll hear from them and so much more when we come back. So stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. Got a frog in my throat today. You say un pollo, right? I've got a frog in my throat. And what do we do when we have a frog in our throat? Ribbit. No, I'm kidding. When we have a frog in our throat, esto. You know how to say that in English? Well, if you work on the radio, something that's really, really important. To clear your throat, or well, if you're talking, if you have to give presentations, sometimes you have to clear your throat because you have a frog in your throat. Estas frases que son, como diríamos, totally native. That's right, the totally native things we learn here. And it's funny because a frog croaks. That's right, a frog croaks. Te suena, no? Croak, croak. But that's not the noise. That's a weird thing. We say the frog croaked, hizo croak. But then when you imitate a frog, you don't say croak, croak, croak. You say ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. So that is a frog croaking. But again, then the sound is different. Well, did you know a rooster crows? That's right. A rooster, un gallo. Crow es cuervo. Isn't that funny? A rooster crows. And what is to crow? Cock-a-doodle-doo. You say kikiri-kikiri-ki. We say cock-a-doodle-doo. Hey, if you have kids, this is stuff you go over. Oh, and the word croak. The word croak, we've seen it before. It's a double trouble. Because to croak also means to kick the bucket. Palmarla. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much to do here in the second part of today's show. So I think we're going to kick things off with the Say What soundbite. Now, this is the second listen, and we've already got a lot of people with observations, and we'll read those in just a moment. Here's the second listen of the Say What soundbite.
So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports, but I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola de 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. It is my latest, greatest book, and you can pick it up at vaughantienda.com. Also, if you're in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, or Zaragoza, please stop by. Pásate. We'd love to meet you. But today in our pop quiz, we are not taking a look at something from one of my books. Nope, not today. Some days we do. Today we're taking a look at Vocabulario en Inglés que deberías conocer. Again, it's got over 4,500 words at a modest under 10 euro price. I mean, under 10 euros, do the math. Plus, you get the audio as well. All right, let's go on over to our chat room. I see we've got a lot of students joining us, which is wonderful. Elena's in the house, bright and early, ready to rock and roll. Elena says, good morning, Double A and everyone. Chomping at the bit to kick off. You guys smell that? I think it smells like a totally native. That's right. Totally native. Wow. And I used this one recently. If you're chomping at the bit, a la británica champing, en inglés americano OMP, en inglés británico es CHAMP. But Elena, we all know you're an American. Honorary American. She says, good morning, Double A and everyone, chomping at the bit to kick off. O sea, estoy con muchísimas ganas. Estoy que no puedo para arrancar. Wow, what a totally native Elena, and what a wonderful start to today's show. We've also got Born to Iron Man checking in with everybody, and he says, morning, friends. Oh, yeah, what's up, Born to Iron Man? Elena says, species and spices is also confusing for us. Oh, yeah. That's it. And what about Sweden and Switzerland? Sueco, Suizo. Oh, man. In fact, I think I told you guys, I was in Switzerland and trying so hard not to be American. And when I mean American, I mean like, hey, do you have tacos in Spain? Like that American. I was like, okay, Switzerland. And then I asked the guy at the hotel, so in Sweden, and my friend was like, Sweden? Really? I'm like, fuck. I was even practicing to not put my foot in my mouth. So some things are confusing. It doesn't matter what language they're in.
Let's see. Chris Valrol, ready to rock and roll, getting some time away from her in-laws. She says, morning show with no namers, ready to spend my favorite moment of the morning. About what you said, you also have enterar and enterrar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always used to mix those up. Enterrar, to bury, and enterar, to understand, me entero. So yeah. And don't even add entrar, which can just, make it even more confusing. Let's see. Elena says, talking about today's Say What soundbite and her observations, she says, an American woman bumping into. Is that another totally native? Topar con, to bump into. Wow, Elena, great job. So, an American woman bumping into a gentleman at a bar. She asks him if he's having fun and finally about his date. Well, you're on the right track. You are definitely on the right track. There's something about a party over there. And there's a totally native idiomatic expression that the boy says. The boy, the guy, well, he's a youngster, jovenzuelo. And the woman is a little bit older. And I'm not going to say anything else. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol says, I heard an American woman, correct, talking to a man. She says she's happy for him, but I couldn't catch anything else. Well, great effort, Chris. It's a tough one, as I said, because that second line, the first line that the kid says, the guy, the young guy, is an idiomatic expression. So we'll see if you're able to recognize it and jot it down. All right, great job. Elena says, okay, Elena participating now in our pop quiz. The first one was en el extranjero. Let's see how she did. She says, my daughter is living abroad for the time being in a far, far away country. Excellent. Abroad. Just be careful, please. You don't know how many times I've heard people say abroad. Oh, it's not an O sound. It's like awesome. Abroad. Y si te cuesta, puedes decir overseas. Sobre mares, right? Or in a foreign country, right? She's living in a foreign, you can't say in the foreign or in the foreigner, but you can say in a foreign country, overseas, abroad, pero por favor, si vas a usar abroad, te lo digo miles y miles de veces he oído abroad, okay? So just make sure, say it with me, vamos a decirlo. She lives abroad, she lives abroad. Y fíjate, me uno la S de S con el abroad. She lives abroad, she lives abroad, okay? And then if you know how to pronounce that, you know how to say Broadway. You want to say Broadway, right? Broad. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway, on Broadway. All right, excellent observations and excellent job in the first example of our pop quiz. Let's see. Then Elena says, on the one hand, I know it would help her to become self-sufficient and come into her own. On the other hand, she is giving up family time. Excellent. So, on one hand or on the one hand. Tienes dos opciones ahí. ¿Ok? Para la primera, yo diría naturalmente on one hand. Pero puedes decir ambas. ¿Ok? Yo lo que haría es elige uno. On one hand or on the one hand, as Elena put. All right? That's up to you. And the second part is on the other hand. Ahí ya no hay otra opción. Okay, so apréndete on the other hand, sí o sí. Y el otro, apréndetelo con el the o sin el the. Because you can use it either way, okay? It's really a stylistic choice, okay? So, on the one hand, I know it would help her to become self-sufficient and come into her own. And to come into her own is, how would you say, actualizarse? No, is that the word? you use in Spanish? To be successful, but of her own doing, right? To come into your own, tener tu momento, no? Independiente de hacerlo tú. So to come, wow, Elena, you are on fire. And on the other hand, she is giving up family time. In other words, a great commitment towards her future. Absolutely. That last word is commitment. That's right. A commitment or an obligation es un compromiso. It's also, another way you can say it, is an agreement. Okay? The two parties have come to an agreement. Okay? To compromise. It's a give and take. Toma y daca. So be careful with that one. Because to compromise es quedar en el medio. Acuerdo mutuo. Llegar a un acuerdo. Ceder puede ser. I compromised and let her watch the TV. Okay? So just be careful because it's not compromiso. Okay? It would be more llegar a un acuerdo mutuo, un toma y daca, right? A give and take, right? Compromise. It's really important in any relationship. And commitment too. Commitment is, I'm committed to this. Estoy committed, as we said. Commitment, committed. Comprometido, that's the word, right? Committed. So to commit to something is comprometerse. So again, I see how it can be confusing there, even for me explaining it right now. I'm like, did I just say it right? So compromise, a give and take, right? To say, okay, I'll give this, you give this. If I give in, si yo cedo un poco, tú cedes un poco, we come to a compromise. A commitment. You guys are committed to learning English. It's a commitment, okay? And I hope you're not compromising anything in your life. Cediendo otras cosas. So again, they can be quite confusing, but not for Elena. Let's see. Chris Valrol. She says, my friend's son studied abroad. Very good. Abroad, en el extranjero. On one hand, I think it's a unique experience. On the other hand, being away from family can make you homesick. Wow. Excellent vocabulary. Give you a totally native there. Homesick, tener moriña. Que yo antes decía moriño. Pinchos, moriños, I used to mix. Para que veas que todos nos equivocamos. My wife, I remember, she cracked up. I was like, I want a pincho moriño. And she's like, yeah, okay. Whatever. I could tell by her face that usually when you put your foot in your mouth big time, a lo grande, you can see in the person that you're talking to's face when they're like, they've got that face like they're totally in shock. So excellent job, Chris. And then she says, we were invited to a wedding, which represents a commitment. That's right. It's a commitment. It's a financial commitment. It's a time commitment as well. Excellent examples, ladies. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man wants to take a crack at it. To take a crack at it is intentarlo también. All right. He says, I've never worked abroad. Excellent. The next one. On the one hand, it would be, pero lo ha contraído muy bien. It'd be interesting. But on the other hand, I'd be far away from my family. I'm going to come to an agreement with the company to work from home and stay here. Excellent. To come to an agreement, to reach an agreement, to compromise. All right. Excellent job. I've got to say, I am quite impressed. There's Anix. She says, hello, beautiful people, the beautiful people. Sorry, I can't read the word beautiful people without thinking about the Marilyn Manson song. What's up, Anix? How's it going? Elena. Oh, wait a second. Are you kidding me? Elena has figured out today's Say What soundbite after the second listen. That's incredible because you still have another 2 listens. That's right, Alberto. 2 plus 2 is 4. So you're going to get 2 more listens. But Elena, it looks like you nailed it. Again, we will take a look at it a little bit later on. But right now, it's time for today's news report.
This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
Oh boy, what's going on here? What is going on here today? All right, well, I call this story Poor Pooch. Do you know the word pooch? It's a funny word, pooch. Pooch. I love, some words are fun to say, right? Pooch. Well, a pooch is a dog. Poor Pooch. All right, well, this dog slash story takes us to Pennsylvania, the land of many pencils. Okay, all right. No, bad joke. Well, a dog was seen wandering. Now, to wander is to walk around aimlessly. Can also be in the figurative sense. My mind wanders. I don't focus easily. Wander, not wonder. So, ojo. He likes to wander around the garden. And then he wonders about life. So wonder, preguntarse, wander, deambular, I think you would say. So this dog was seen wandering for days in Pennsylvania, and his head was stuck, atascado, in a large plastic jar. Poor thing. The good news, the story has a happy ending. It was a snack container that the dog, I guess, was sniffing. He stuck his head in there, and the rest is history. So the dog, the poor dog, which has now been freed, right, librado, spent a few days with its head stuck in a plastic jar. And what happened was volunteers were able to locate, this canine, this pooch, in a cornfield. O sea, piénsalo, en un campo de maíz. Those are huge, you know? Trying to find something there is really difficult. Well, it wasn't found by the human eye. Well, partly. I guess if you think about the fact that a human was manning the drone, that's right, the pilot. So yeah, there was a Nighthawk drone, and it was able to locate this poor pooch in the middle of a cornfield at 3 a.m. A las 3 de la madrugada. Now, they found the dog. They were able to get the plastic snack jar off of his head. And they have renamed the dog because it was a stray dog. Stray. Stray es callejero. Stray. Que de hecho, to wander is to stray. ¿Ves? Todo está conectado. Las ideas. No deambular, que se desvía. It strays from the other dogs. So they renamed this dog. If it had a name before, if it didn't, then they named it for the first time. And they named the dog Dallas. Now you're thinking, why Dallas? I thought you just said it took place in Pennsylvania. What does it have to do with Dallas? Well, the drone pilot who found him, his name is Dallas Furman. So they thought, since it was the drone pilot who was able to finally locate the dog that had been reported, many people called in to the police or to authorities to report the dog, but they couldn't catch the dog. And of course, the dog just kept wandering around. So it was, como decimos, like finding a needle in a haystack. Como encontrar una aguja en un pajar. We say it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, as I said, the dog is fine now. The dog was treated by a vet. A vet is another way of saying a veterinarian. But the dog suffered from severe dehydration. Right? Dehydration es el sustantivo. The verb is to dehydrate. The adjective, dehydrated. So the poor animal, of course, a couple days, or you can't drink water because your head's stuck. So poor creature. So severe dehydration. The dog was also infested with ticks, garrapatas, you say ticks, and was clearly in distress. The good thing, the dog is expected to make a full recovery. And thanks to the worried citizens, who said, wait, there's a poor animal out there who, if somebody doesn't help him, the animal's going to die. It's either going to run out of air and suffocate, or, as we said before, dehydration. But officials said on their official page, no puede ser más oficial que eso. They said, for now, we celebrate a life saved and the power of people coming together for one dog who matters. Dallas is not available for adoption. I know many of you are thinking, oh, well, I'll take this dog in. To take in is another way of saying to adopt. Tomar dentro, right? Acoger. So, no, there's no official notice that this dog is up for adoption. Y eso es como se dice, the dog is up for adoption. También se puede decir, the parents put the child up for adoption. Eso sería la estructura. So, folks, the story does have a happy ending, and I'm sure once Dallas is fully recovered, they'll be able to find a happy home for this poor pooch. Amigos, right now we've got to head to another commercial break. But it's going to be a quick one. And then when we come back with the second half of the show, man, we've got a lot of stuff to do. Let's see, what are we going to take a look at? We've got our homophones. We've got the Say What soundbite for the third time. We've got life hacks. We've also got our spelling bee. We've got double trouble and so much more up ahead. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the second half of today's show with No Name. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're learning, and I hope you're ready to learn and laugh some more. Don't forget to stay tuned after today's program, and you can learn English with Gretchen. After her show, you can learn English with my buddies Rob and Andy in the lunchtime show. After that, you've got Ruby, and she will guide you through the English language, followed by Dave Boys. You never know what to expect with Dave Boys on the salad. Then you've got tons of challenges with my buddy Kyle Miller on Drive Time. Perfect way to spend your commute home. And then when you get home and you want to kick back and relax, you can listen to my buddy Chris Frank and his program, Frankly Speaking. You've also got Richard Vaughn Live, of course. Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. You've got the Pro Bow Show with my buddy Rob Grams, where you'll look at the unpopular opinion of the day and then sit in on a master class with Fitz in his program, No Excuses. All right, let's get moving, amigos. It's time for Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the Show with No Name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. The Show with No Name. Homophones on the Show with No Name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the Show with No Name. 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 Show with No Name. Show with No Name.
That's right, amigos. It's Homophones here on the Show with No Name. All right, let's see what we've got for today's Homophones. And as always, this is a section, again, where it's going to be about these little nuances, matices, right? The nuances are what count in this section and in life in general. Am I right? I mean, in the end, the difference between a good teacher and a bad teacher isn't the grammar they're teaching. It isn't the vocabulary. It should be roughly the same. It's the way it's done, right? It's the vehicle that counts. And so those little details make the difference. All right, let's take a look. The first word is a word that means to move something along the ground, but not move it, to pull it along the ground. You say arrastrar. Now, we also use it in internet vocabulary as arrastrar también. So if you want to take a file and drop it into a folder, right, un archivo a una carpeta, well, you're going to have to do this too, right? You click and then you arrastrar. Also, it means to dress up as a male who dresses up as a woman, okay? We usually call them a queen, correct? So you can say that he dresses in Eso es se viste de mujer, okay? What else? Also, it's if you smoke, una calada, I think you say, okay? So it's when you go, right? So do not take a calada off that cigarette. It's poison. Okay, so pretty rich word, I've got to say. And also, if we say that something is esto es un rollo, una lata, right? Es un, as you say, coñazo. So wow, I never realized it was such a rich word here. I'm just realizing it now. I mean, I know all the meanings, but I never stopped to think about it. All right, and the second word is medicamento, droga. También es anestesiar, that's a difficult one. Drogar a alguien, envenenar, it could be as well. All right. So I think that one, the meaning is more, around one idea. Whereas the first word, as we'll see when we look at the examples, it is one of these multi-use words that really can be used in, who knows, maybe a future double trouble. Well, I just wrote it down so you can expect to see it in a future double or triple trouble. So what are those two words, and do they sound exactly the same or not? Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite for the third time. As I said, I get it. That second thing, the first thing that the guy says is a little tough, but it's okay. Listen carefully. I'm sure somebody else will be able to get it along with Elena.
So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town.
That's right, amigos, Vaughan Town. And you can find everything you need over at grupovaughan.com. It'll give you all the information about Vaughan Town. You can find out not just how much it is, but the different options we have and also the different locations. Again, if you're following us on social media, I think that's one of the best ways to stay in the loop. All right, let's take a look over here. We've got a lot of students participating today. So right off the bat, sin más, desde el primer momento, kudos. Excellent job, folks. All right, let's see. Elena gives us the two words, and she says they are not homophones. Okay, Born to Iron Man gives us the two words, and he says they don't sound alike. All right, Chris Valrol also gives us the two words, and she says they are not homophones. So we're talking about 3 super students here who are saying, no way, Jose. Well, let me say both words. Okay, drugs are a drag. Un coñazo. Drugs are, y si no sabías ese uso, ahora lo sabes. Drugs are a drag. So excellent job. They don't sound the same. As always, let's rhyme some words. And I want you guys, this is really important here. It's really important for you guys to recreate these sounds that we're about to make. So the first one, drag. Drag rhymes with bag, rhymes with lag. A lag es un desfase. Piensa, the jet lag. Okay, it rhymes with lag, bag. Drag is the word, and sag. Sag is caer o decaerse. Hey, we're learning other words too. The sound is ag. So drag. So let's look at the different uses, as I said, just to make sure we've got them over here. So it's a regular verb. He dragged the dead body across the street. Okay, arrastrar, to drag, right? Also, man, this is a drag. Vaya rollo, this is a drag. And he took a drag of her cigarette. He took a drag of her cigarette because he was dressed in drag. There you go. Drag. Say it, drag. The second word is drug. Drug. Okay? Drug. And again, it can be the noun, right? They're experimenting on a new drug, and it doesn't have to be a negative thing. For example, my grandfather's pharmacy was called Lembo Drugs, drogeria, right? And he sold drugs, but he wasn't a drug dealer. He was a pharmacist, obviously, right? So it doesn't always have to have the negative connotation. Oh, the researchers are working on a new cancer drug, right? So, but also if we say drugs in general, then we're talking about, things, substances that people abuse, right? Narcotics, illegal substances, okay? Now, to drug somebody, otra vez es como drag, un verbo regular. They drugged him or her at the club, right? You say burundanga or something. It's to put drugs in somebody's drink or in somebody's food, right? To give somebody drugs. But also it can be at the hospital. Oh, after the accident, the doctors drugged me. Me llenaron de droga, no me drogaron, right? And also, as I said, it's poner droga en algo, to drug somebody or to put drugs in their drink. And drug rhymes with lug. Lug es llevar algo que pesa. Oh man, can you help me lug this suitcase? Lug, drug, bug, right? Mug, taza. All right, so if you know how to pronounce the vowel sound once, you can pronounce it in all those different words. All right, excellent job, folks. Drugs are a drag. Say it with me so I know you know how to say them. Drugs are a drag. All right, folks, it's time for one of our newer sections, Life Hacks.
These are the life hacks you need to know.
All right, folks. Now, let me ask you, do you pack light or do you pack everything but the kitchen sink? To pack es hacer la maleta. We don't say to make the suitcase or to do the suitcase. We say to pack y luego al final del viaje to unpack. To pack light means you're not carrying too much weight, okay? To pack everything but the kitchen sink es la expresión que decimos que te lo llevaste todo. O sea, no dejaste nada. Solo el fregadero es lo único que dejaste en casa. You packed everything but the kitchen sink. Well, packing is a science. And as somebody who went around Asia for 3 weeks with just a backpack, I can tell you it is an art form. And so I'm going to share some of my packing hacks today. Now, first one, and I'm sure you've seen this before too, but I didn't start doing this till I was in my 40s. It took me that long to say, claro, makes sense. And this is rolling your clothes instead of folding them. Now, this serves two purposes here. If you're rolling your clothes, they take up less space and they don't get as wrinkled. So, I mean, really, you're killing two birds with one stone here. And ever since I tried it, and it's an art form, it takes more time. Because if you fold it, okay, put the 4 shirts in the backpack and that's it. But rolling it and take your time, like you're rolling a burrito, un burrito. Go easy, roll, you want to make sure that you're rolling it nicely so there are no folds in it, ¿no? Donde está doblado o donde está plegado. Because what happens there? Well, then that fold is going to be a wrinkle later on. So you gotta, don't just roll them haphazardly. Haphazardly is al azar, como sea. No, you want to roll them carefully and try to avoid any weird folds in the clothes. And this, as I said, will serve two purposes. The first one, ocupando, taking up less space in your suitcase, and you won't have to iron your clothes when you get to your destination, because if you rolled them correctly, then they shouldn't be too wrinkly. All right. And there are many ironing hacks too, but we'll look at those in another episode. Today, I wanted to take a look at some packing hacks. Another thing people do, but again, this is now an investment. Hombre, no hay que invertir mucho, but some people use these compression bags. You know, these bags that are vacuum packed, right? Vacuum packed, you say al vacío. And what are you doing there? Well, you're removing all that extra air that you don't need. Now, this is for serious packers, right? This is for people who are saying, all right, I'm going to fit a lot in here. But then remember, if you're traveling on a plane, it's not just how much you have in your suitcase, it's how much that stuff weighs, lo que pesa. And we all know another huge business for the airline industries, aside from selling tickets, is charging for baggage. In fact, we've seen it where Ryanair flights or EasyJet, these low cost, where the actual flight is cheaper than checking a bag. Yeah. So the flight was 20 euros. If you want to check your bag, it's 65. What? Yeah. Okay. So you better start rolling. Más te vale empezar. Roll. Rodar? No, you don't say rodar. How would you say that? To roll. Because I know roll is rodar una pelota, but this roll? No, hacerlo como una tortilla. Envolverlo? No, I don't think that's the right word either. Well, these compression bags, I'm sure you can find them pretty cheap, right? You can find them online. And hey, if you travel often, I think it could be a good investment for space saving, because you don't need things taking up more space than they have to. Otra vez, si no sacamos nada de aquí, tenemos que sacar el take up, ocupar. Okay. Another packing tip, which I think everybody knows, bags are awesome. Yeah, I pack usually plastic bags, about 2 or 3. One for dirty laundry, one where I put the shampoo and all that stuff. You can never have enough bags. True story. Because, well, you're going to need them at some point, right? So bags are always good, because until you don't have one, you don't realize the importance of it. So especially if you have a kid, oh, she wet her pants, right? To wet your pants is, mearse. So you bring a change of clothes, things like that. It's parent life. Another thing, this is another trick that I learned when packing, another hack. And this is, I'm telling you right now, it saves lives here. A power strip. You call it un ladrón, right? A power strip. A power strip. We say una franja de electricidad. Why? Well, it doesn't matter how many plugs your hotel room has, does it? Right? So you can charge your computer, your wife can charge her phone, you can charge the camera, whatever things you need to charge. And of course, if you have an adapter, if you're going to Japan or some country where they don't use the same current, right? The same voltage. Well, then, of course, you're going to want to have the adapter as well as the power strip. And then you just plug that into the one plug that's all you need, and you're good to go. Now, I recommend you get one with the surge protector, right? Especially if you're using it to travel. Aquí nos gastamos unos euritos más y pillamos el que protege, right? The one that protects your that protects it, of course. All right. So you don't want any of your stuff burning up. And I've had that happen. I remember the first time I tried to plug my cell phone in. This was before smartphones, about 20 years ago when I moved to Spain. I plugged it in and I instantly smelled burnt wires, cables quemados. And I said, oh, shit. The phone never turned on again. So I highly recommend, with your adapter, a power strip. And then it doesn't really matter how many plugs the hotel room offers. So let's see. I think we've got a couple people over here offering some other packing hacks. Pink Mouse DJ says to roll equals enrollar, to roll up, actually. Yeah, it's como call. You can say he rolls his clothes or he rolls them up. And it's enrollar, as Elena and Pink Mouse DJ say. All right, enrollar. Yeah, because roll is rodar en otro sentido. That's a difficult one for me. The words roll, spin, those words are tough, because they can have different meanings or different vocabulary words in another language. Let's see. Anik says, another life hack is to fill up your shoes with small things such as socks or your underwear. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's shoes, cups. I remember my mom came and she got some souvenir cups. And of course, you're thinking, all right, well, that's going to take up a lot of space. Well, not if you put your underwear in it, not if you put socks in it, not if you put little trinkets son cosuchas. So yeah, use the space. If you've got holes, fill those holes. And great one, Anix. I do that all the time too. I'm a big fan of putting things in cups, in shoes, not in socks. And also think about it. If you need to protect something, put it in a sock, in a cup, and you're fine. It's got to break the plastic first. So these little tricks that can help you when you're on the road, cuando estás por ahí de viaje. All right, my amigos, those were your packing hacks for today. I hope you guys are liking the new sections. Let me know your feedback on the new sections: life hacks, wacky world records, real reviews, and of course, our daily news report. But right now, folks, we are not going to take a look at any of the news sections. It's time for an old favorite, a challenge we call Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. Welcome to our Double Trouble section. Now, I think personally, I write down, I would say, anywhere from 2 to 5 double troubles a day. Well, I just wrote down one while we were sitting here on the air live. And so, when I'm listening to a podcast this morning at the gym, I wrote down another one. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but I wrote down another one. So again, I am constantly scanning podcasts, movies, series, interviews, videos I watch. I'm constantly scanning the English language to bring you the stuff I think you need to know. And we make it a game. Why not? All right, let's take a look over here. Here it is. Ese tío con tatuajes por todos los brazos tiene un as en la manga. Ooh, wow. That second one is an idiomatic expression. So, ese tío con tatuajes por todos los brazos. I think you've all seen people like that, right? One thing is having one tattoo, and another thing is when you look at someone, all you see is ink, right? El tinte este. So, when somebody has tattoos up and down their arms, right, where all you see is tattoos, we have a name for this in English. And if you notice, did I say tattoo or did I say tattoos? Yeah, they're called tattoos. It's interesting because when I hear people say it in Spanish, you put the accent in a different place. Ah, te has puesto un tattoo. I know, because you say tatuaje, but we say tattoo. Hey, I'm just letting you know, if you go to the United States, that's how you're going to hear it. Also in British English as well, a tattoo, but always the accent, the emphasis on the second part of the word. As in Spanish, it's on the first part of the word. So FYI, for your information. All right? So ese tío con tatuajes por todos los brazos, para arriba y para abajo, tiene un as en la manga. Let's see. Elena says, my favorite is the daily news report. However, wacky records makes me think how mental people are. Well, the important thing is that you're enjoying the new sections. And of course, as always, you're learning some English from them as well. Amigos, we're going to take our final commercial break right now. You guys are kicking ass today, so keep it up. When we come back, we're going to take a look at our Say What soundbite for the fourth time. We've got our Double Trouble Challenge, which I see some of you have already given it a go. We've also got Name That Movie, jokes, famous birthdays, and so much more. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with No Name. Don't forget, do not forget, you've got amazing programs all afternoon long and evening and even on the weekends. All right, they're repeats, but hey, you don't want to work on the weekend either, do you? But don't worry, folks. You've got hours and hours of amazing content. And you can get that content by downloading the Vaughn Radio app. You can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iVox, and probably others. So listen to your favorite programs as you go about your day. And I get it. Sometimes you'll be able to participate more and other times less. But as long as you've got Vaughn Radio in the background, you're going to be getting something from it. It's better than listening to a Spanish radio station. Well, not saying anything against Spanish radio stations, but you already know Spanish. And let's be honest. Most stuff is bad news anyway. No thanks. So there you go, my amigos. We're going to kick it off right now with your Say What soundbite. Elena got it already. We'll see if anybody else can figure it out. Are you ready? All right, here it is, a classic scene from a classic comedy. Here it is for the fourth and final time.
So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
¿Qué tal vas de ánimo? ¿Necesitas un empujón? ¿Un poco de aliento? No sweat. No te preocupes. Pásate por vaughantienda.com y hazte con nuestro nuevo material multimedia. 365 días de wellness e inglés. Y viene de la mano de tu propio personal trainer profesional, David Gómez Agudo, conocido por sus miles de seguidores en las redes como Fitbull Coach. Trabajarás fitness, mindset, nutrición y por supuesto el inglés. Y viene con más de 250 vídeos para que entrenes junto con tu coach. Es un win-win. Haz que este año sea tu año, con 365 días de wellness e inglés.
All right, folks, let's take a look over here. We've got a lot of people participating. It's great to have you all participating here, learning English. So great job in general, on the whole. On the whole, es en general, excellent job. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man says, that guy with tattoos all over his sleeve, has an ace up his sleeve. That works. Elena, that guy with tattoos all up his sleeve has an ace up his sleeve. All right. So the expression, to have an ace up your sleeve, right? To have, decís lo mismo. Pero muy bien que habéis puesto up, porque eso es parte de la expresión. Y muchas veces, do you have an ace in the sleeve? Do you have no, to have an ace up your sleeve. And both Born to Iron Man and Elena got that. Excellent job. Well, also there's a sleeve tattoo, and I don't have to explain why, do I? Right? If you have a full sleeve tattoo, it means your whole arm is covered from your shoulder to your wrist, right? Makes sense. Like a long sleeve shirt. You've got long sleeve, you've got short sleeve, but in tattoos, you can have a tattoo sleeve or a sleeve tattoo. De hecho, se puede decir los dos. But again, I think it's really easy to imagine why. Porque parece que tienes, right, una manga ahí. So now if somebody has both arms, we can say they are fully sleeved, right? Some rock stars are fully sleeved, or they have sleeve tattoos, okay? And these became popular in the 1980s, really. Before that, people would just have like one thing. And usually a sleeve tattoo is one that takes time, because if you notice it, it's usually a mix of different things, right? It's Jesus Christ, my mother, my kids' names, my favorite roller coaster, and Bob Marley. And you got to make it all look good together, right? So a lot of times, you know, as opposed to just a standard tattoo, well, these could take a little more time, a little more planning, a little more pain. Have any of you ever gotten any tattoos? I've never gotten any tattoos because I'm a big baby. No, you know what? I like them, but it's not my cup of tea. They're cool, I guess. You know, whatever. Hey, uso la frase que usamos aquí. Whatever floats your boat. Lo que te mole a ti. Lo que le gusta a cada uno. Right? Different strokes for different folks. Para gustos, los colores. So yes, excellent job. So the one I had written here is, let me see, you guys got it right a little. I wouldn't say all up his sleeve, although it does make sense, but you could just say he has sleeve tattoos. No me acuerdo la frase exacta. So, ese tío con tatuajes por todos los brazos. You can say that fully sleeved guy, okay? Or that guy with tattoo sleeves or sleeve tattoos. Again, you can say it both either way, according to Wikipedia. I would say the guy with the sleeve tattoos, but tattoo sleeves are fine as well. So that fully sleeved guy has an ace up his sleeve. Wonderful job to Elena and Born to Iron Man. Chris Valrol as well. She got the Say What soundbite. Great job, Elena and Chris. Wow. 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 Wowzers. All right, folks, it's time to move on, though, because we're going to the movies. Name that movie. All right, amigos. That's right. It is time for Name That Movie, where we learn a little bit of English from those movies that have changed our lives and influenced us throughout the years. All right, here we go. I'll give you a little synopsis, and then we'll take a look at a scene, and we'll extract a little bit of English from it. Journalist Michael Blomkvist is aided in his search for a woman who has been missing for 40 years by hacker Elizabeth Salander. Oh, wow. Maybe you'll recognize the names. So, journalist, periodista, no journalist, journalist, como si fuera una E. Journalist Michael Blomkvist is aided. Now, aid is ayudado, right? He's aided, he's helped in his search for a woman, en su búsqueda por una mujer who has been missing for 40 years, que lleva más de 40 años desaparecida, by hacker Lisbeth Salander. You either know those names or you don't. All right. Well, I've given you a clue already. Yep. I gave you a clue in the Double Trouble. All right. Well, let me give you a clue. I'll tell you who the director is. David Fincher. That's right. David Fincher. And Chris Valrol, you got it. It is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Well, Chris gave us a new version, The Woman. In English, we call it The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And just be careful, Chris, the word tattoo in English is dos T's y dos O's. So te falta una T ahí. So in Spanish, it's la mujer. Pues en inglés es la chica. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It stars Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara, and Christopher Plummer. So, and she says, I love this movie. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it was adapted from a best-selling book as well, right? I haven't seen it, but I know it was extremely popular. It has almost 8 out of 10 stars on IMDb. So that's one that's worth watching. Don't just take Chris Valrol's word for it, although we can trust her. But it seems like that is the general consensus. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Well, let's be honest, David Fincher, I mean, he's a master, isn't he? All right, let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen here. Martin says, let me ask you something. Déjame preguntarte algo. Why don't people trust their instincts? Now, an easier way to say that is trust their guts. Gut is tripa. So why don't people trust their guts? Why don't people trust their instincts? They sense something is wrong. Sienten. They sense something is wrong. Someone is walking too close behind them. Alguien se acerca demasiado de atrás. You knew something was wrong. Sabías que algo iba mal. You knew something was wrong, but you came back into the house. Pero volviste a la casa, right? And then he says, did I force you? Te forcé? Did I drag you in? We looked at the word drag before. It's not pronounced like drug, right? Drag, arrastrarte. Te arrastré aquí. And there's another meaning. Did I drag you in? Te hice, te forcé, lo hice a la fuerza. Piénsalo, si estás arrastrando a alguien, estás haciendo que hagan algo a la fuerza. So did I force you? Did I drag you in? No. All I had to do was offer you a drink. Lo único que tenía que hacer es ofrecerte algo de tomar. It's hard to believe that the fear of offending can be stronger than the fear of pain. Es muy difícil pensar y creer que el miedo de ofender a alguien es más fuerte que el miedo de estar herido, de tener daño, dolores. But you know what? It is. Lo es. And they always come willingly. Y siempre vienen de su propia voluntad. They always come willingly. And when they sit there, cuando se sienten ahí, they know it's all over, just like you do. But somehow, they still think they have a chance. Siguen creyendo que tienen una oportunidad. Maybe if I say the right thing, quizás si digo la cosa correcta. Maybe if I'm polite, educado. If I cry, si lloro. If I beg, rogar. And when I see the hope draining, to drain is desaguar, when you drain water, se vacía, right? El drenaje comes from the word drain, right? So maybe if I'm polite, maybe if I cry, if I beg, and when I see the hope draining from their face, like it is from yours right now, I can feel myself getting hard. Getting hard is an erection. Yeah, he's saying it turns him on. Le pone. I can feel myself getting hard. We're not that different, you and I. We both have urges. And urge is, how do you say it? The verb to urge es instar. Pero ¿cómo se diría urge como sustantivo en español? We all have urges, ganas, deseos, right? Ansias. We have urges, necesidades, impulsos, okay? The word is urge, como verbo instar. I urge you guys every day to repeat the vocabulary aloud. So we both have urges. Satisfying mine requires more towels. Lo de satisfacer el mío requiere más toallas. It is the girl with the dragon tattoo, and it is the one and only David Fincher. All right, let's move on to today's You're Joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
That's right, amigos. You're joking here on the show with no name. Let's take a look and see what we've got. All right. Now, we were talking about tattoos. We talked about the girl with the dragon tattoo. We talked about being fully sleeved. So I figured we could stay on this topic while we're at it. Now, if you've learned nothing from this little tattoo talk, it's at least you know how to pronounce it now in English. It's not tattoo, sino tattoo. Okay, so what kind of tattoo tells you the temperature? Temperature, pero nos comemos la A. Temperature. O sea, lo decimos en nuestra cabeza, pero realmente no se oye. Temperature. Okay, temperature. So what kind of tattoo tells you the temperature? A thermostat. Thermostat. Whew. No? Well, I'm sure you recognize the word thermostat, termostato, right? Check the thermostat. I think the heat is on, right? Termostato. I mean, that one's pretty, again, the pronunciation is different. Thermostat. We say termostato. We say thermostat. Ah, bueno, es al final como el vuestro. No como tattoo. So thermostat, you get it? Well, another way to call a tattoo is tat. Thermostat. Well, hey, you can say nice tattoos or, hey, nice tats. I like your tats, right? So there you go, my amigos. Tat, another way of saying a tattoo, which, as I said, they're ever so popular. You get it? Thermostat. Oh, that was a really bad one. All right, I've got some more here for you. Why did the tattoo artist get fired? Why did the tattoo artist get fired? Why was he let go, por decirlo de otra forma? Well, he didn't know where to draw the line. No, I didn't. To draw the line. No sabía dónde dibujar la línea. No sabía dónde poner el límite. No, I thought it was funny. Why was the tattoo artist fired? Because he didn't know where to draw the line. No supo dónde dibujar la línea, la raya, o lo que viene siendo, no supo dónde poner el límite, dónde fijar el límite. To draw the line. Eso decimos en inglés. That's where I draw the line. Hasta aquí hemos llegado. All right, and one more. Let's see if you get it. And this one is off the top of my head. I came up with this joke myself this morning when I was looking at the script. I didn't like the one I had, and I said, I need a new one. Bang! And it just came to me like an epiphany. So I hope you like it. And if not, sorry for all the hype. All right, what's the best name for a tattoo parlor? What is the best name for a tattoo parlor? A tattoo parlor is where you get tattoos. Ink. Hey, it is actually a good name for a tattoo parlor. You get it? Ink. Well, the first one's ink, el tinte, the ink that they use when they give you a tattoo. And ink, I-N-C, punto, is incorporated. ink. Okay. Well, thank God I'm not a stand-up comedian. Amigos, it's time to move on to today's famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got for today's famous birthdays. The first birthday boy was born today in 1969. He's been in many movies, including Dead Man Walking, The Cable Guy, Mars Attacks, Shallow Hal, Orange County, El Condado de Orange. Good movie, by the way. And you probably know him most, though, from School of Rock or Kung Fu Panda or playing Bowser in the Super Mario Brothers movie. He was in Jumanji, also one of my favorite movies ever, Tropic Thunder. And he's got a cool name. Su nombre mola. All right, number 2, this movie director and producer was born today in 1962. He has won many, many awards. He's been nominated for many, many more. And he started off in the music video industry with Madonna songs. In fact, you like the video Vogue by Madonna? Come on, Vogue. Well, he directed that. Yes. Also, he's worked with the Stones, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, and his movies? Well, Alien 3, 7, The Game, Fight Club. Whoa, did I just say Fight Club? Oh, yeah. Also, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Social Network, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. You have to know him because he is huge. And last but not least, she is a very talented, beautiful actress, but she will always be known as Stifler's mom, the MILF. Madre que me fue. Okay. Well, that's her claim. I mean, she's been in so many movies. She's been in Epic Movie, Click, Best in Show. And again, she is extremely talented. But once you're typecast, once you play that sexy older woman, that cougar, and you do the role so well, you're always going to be Stifler's mom. American Pie? Anyone? Oh, and I read something the other day. I don't remember the exact numbers, so I'm going to paraphrase. But Stifler's mom was 38 at the time of the filming of American Pie. Yeah, 10 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Is she really that old? So let me give them to you, because if not, we are going to run out of time. Number 1, Jack Black. Number 2, David Fincher. And number 3, Jennifer Coolidge. Great job, Chris Valrol. You got it at the last second there at the buzzer. All right, well, this is going to take us over to our Say What soundbite. This is Stifler's mom, que así se llama en el guión, and shit break, as they call him. El que no le gusta cagar en sitios públicos, right? The one who was in love with Stifler's mom. All right. And so she says to him at the party, there's a party going on at her house, at Stifler's house. And she says, so, as she's sitting there in a seductive way, so, are you enjoying yourself? And he says, I'm 3 sheets to the wind, ma'am. Estoy borrachísimo. To be 3 sheets to the wind means you're drunk. Okay. And she says, oh, I'm so happy for you. Me alegra muchísimo. She's being a little bit sarcastic, right? Because, I mean, he's partying at her house. So she's teasing him. She's trying to seduce him, right? So then another really good idiomatic expression. She says, I'm so happy for you. Really takes the edge off, doesn't it? Y se toma una copa. Now, to take the edge off is quita el dolor. Quita, they say it with alcohol. Oh, man, after a long day, I have a whiskey to take the edge off. I don't recommend that. I'm just giving you an example. To take the edge off, quitarme el estrés de encima. And then she's jealous. She says, so, where's your little date tonight? ¿Dónde está tu cita pequeñita, chiquita, esta noche? Here she is, the one and only Jennifer Coolidge in her claim to fame, Stifler's mom.
So you're enjoying yourself?
3 sheets to the wind, man.
I'm so happy for you. But it takes the edge off, doesn't it? So where's your little date tonight?
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
All right, wonderful job, everybody. Excellent job. I couldn't ask for better students. Stay tuned because up next you've got Gretchen. And right now we're going to take a look at Tenacious D, which is Jack Black's band. If you haven't listened to him, give him a listen. Tenacious D. And this song is brilliant. It's called Wonder Boy. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow with more. I promise. If you don't know this song, you got to check it out. It rocks. Wonder Boy. Tenacious D. This is Kyle Gass and Jack Black. Here we go. High above the mucky muck, castle made of clouds, there sits Wonder Boy, sitting oh so proudly. Not much to say when you're high above the mucky muck.